So everybody's talking about social media, you know, the things that you can do like Facebook and Twitter and MySpace. Well, you know what I'm saying, all those different platforms. The thing that's kind of interesting, and more chefs and restaurant owners are responding. What I mean by that is, in the past, the only one that had all the power were newspapers. And for the restaurant people, all the power at the newspapers was in the hands of the restaurant critics. Now, I'm not saying they're worthy, they're not worthy. I think the better newspapers send their critics in unannounced, usually in some kind of disguise, and they'll send them in a half a dozen times or at least 3 times. Now what happens is you can have a bad experience in a restaurant, but let me ask you a question. If you go to the big department store like say Macy's, do you get a chance to critique the leather jacket? And what makes you a pro? Just because you eat doesn't make you necessarily a great critic. So with the advent of all the social media, people have a very easy time to just go to a restaurant, or for that matter, most businesses that are service oriented, have something that they didn't exactly like, and then just instead of responding at the time that they're at the business and giving somebody a chance to correct it or feedback, they're going out and they're yelping about it, and they're making a big stink, and they're damaging businesses anonymously, which I have a problem with. If you're going to say something, say it to my face type of thing, right? Well, now chefs and restaurant owners are fighting back, and it's become a whole big cottage industry where you can find out that maybe that person that came in and complained that they had an hour wait for their reservation and wrote 3 paragraphs, maybe they weren't right. Maybe the customer always isn't right. As a matter of fact, maybe that party of 8, maybe 2 people showed up 10 minutes before their reservation. Maybe they held the table and 40 minutes later the rest of the party showed up, and then they took another 30 minutes to decide to give the waiter the order because they were too busy catching up and having a conversation. And then when they go and they blog and they say it took an hour and a half before they were able to get their food or get their order in, they don't know what they're talking about. So it's nice to see some restaurant people fighting back, not being afraid to open their mouth. And the next time you decide that you've been somewhere out of business and didn't like the way you were treated, didn't like the service, or had a problem with the product, open your mouth, say something. Don't be a big tough guy when you leave the place and make an anonymous comment on a blog. Stick to your guns. You have a right to say what you feel, but have it addressed when you're there. All right, I'll get more rant and raving next time.